video, we're going to be talking about heterogeneous mixtures and homogeneous mixtures.
So homogeneous mixture is a solute plus a solvent that equals a solution. So a solution is like sugar and water. The sugar particles dissolve in the water, and we cannot separate this by a physical or filtered form. We can only separate this by heating it or chemicals.
Examples of how homogeneous mixtures are made in our lives would be, for example, salt and water. Salt is a solid, water is a liquid. When the salt eventually gets dissolved in the water, making salt water. Now let's take something like gas and water. When we take the gas element CO2 and if we take water, when they mix, what happens is that it makes carbonated water. These are just some examples.
So liquid with liquid equal to solution, because this is a liquid, vinegar is a liquid, and water is a liquid. And that's liquid plus liquid. And that solution is called acetic acid, and it's not the bad acidic. If you mix two solids plus solid, you can also make a solution. That's impossible, you may think, but it actually isn't possible. So this jewelry right here, it contains silver and copper, and when those two are together, those make another type of jewelry, nothing but a solution. And these are the few ways that a solution can be made. Let's mix this sugar into the water. So I'm mixing solid into liquid to make a solution. When the sugar is gonna be dissolving, I'm gonna try with vinegar and water, liquid plus liquid. So right now I cannot see the vinegar. They're dissolved evenly and you cannot separate them. The sugar is finally dissolved and it's distributed evenly into the water particles.
Alright, now we'll move on to heterogeneous mixtures. Hetero means separate. So basically, already from knowing the name, that the mixtures that when we try to mix them together, they can be easily separated. Now, for example, let's take sand and water. When we try to mix them both, the sand will settle at the bottom, but the water will rise up to the top. Because the sand and water are not evenly distributed, this is known as heterogeneous mixture. We also have some examples right in front of us. We have oil and tea leaves. The oil will not be evenly distributed in the water. Instead, it will stay afloat on top of the water, and the water will sink to the bottom. Because of that, it is known as heterogeneous. I'm going to be showing this, so I'm going to be mixing it. We'll wait for a few minutes and just see what happens. Now we're going to be moving on to the tea leaves. The tea leaves are also less dense than water, so they will float on top of it, while the water will stay underneath it. Because the tea leaves and the water cannot mix together, what happens is that they will stay two separate particles. If I want to remove the tea leaves, I can do it with my bare hand. So this means that it can be easily separated, unlike what happens in the homogeneous mixtures that cannot be. So we can see over here that the oil is still afloat and has not mixed with the water, and the tea leaves are still afloat and has not also mixed with the water. Hence, these are heterogeneous mixtures.